Hello and welcome to the Nerdiest podcast, the podcast where nerds talk about nerdy things. I'm your host, Nick Barrett, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Jackson Glass, my ride or die. But before we get to Jackson, I just want to take a quick second to plug our social media. You can follow us on Instagram at the Nerdiest Podcast, on Twitter at Nerdiest Pod, and you can go down the description of this episode to check out either a Q&A or a poll, which is exclusively on Spotify. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, don't forget to rate us 5 stars and write a review. If you write in a review to the show, we will read it live on the show. I actually have to go check and see if there's any reviews for us to read on this episode. But today, we're going to be talking about everyone's favorite movie from 2022.
Best movie of the year.
What's going to win? It's going to have an Oscar sweep, baby, in 2023. Morbius with Jared Leto. So that's very exciting. But before we jump into Morbius, I'm going to pass it over to you, Jackson. How are you doing today?
You know, I'm doing well. I had a ton of classes canceled today for nothing, and it wasn't even for bad reasons. It was like, I have a family event, so no class today. And so now, I was done with school by 9 a.m., which is, insane. But, yep, I'm good. Just working. We're pre-recording a little bit because fall break is coming up, and I'll be gone. But it is spooky month. Spooky season is upon us, and I want to say that I like fall. I do. I don't like Halloween. I think Halloween is overrated. That's just I'm more of a Christmas person, and I don't do scary movies, scary stuff. I'm just not about that. And so I'm kind of living my cozy fall vibes, but staying away from, scary stuff. But I throw it back to you. How was your week?
I can't do this. So I decided to put up the Morbius poster in my, on Google on my second monitor, and I can't do it. The longer I sit and look at even just the VFX, or I guess just the CG effects they put on this poster, it's terrifying. Nothing about this poster is lined up, because you have the one half that's his Morbin half, and then the other side that's his Jared half, if you will. And it's nothing lines up, because on the Jared Leto half, his mouth is closed, but on the Morbius side, his mouth is open, which means he's got the mustache or the beard on one side, but it's higher on the other side because his mouth is open. It's just such a terribly put together poster, and I hate it.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that.
And then there's also the other poster that has all the characters on it, and he's got the sonar going off behind him and the eyes. It looks stupid.
No.
And then they're a new Marvel legend arrived. No. Nobody who worked on this movie thought it was going to do that good. It didn't do good at all. But my week, how's my week been? It's been good. I've been really busy. I'm actually leaving and going out of town tomorrow. Ooh. For a weekend trip with the fam, so I'm kind of scrambling to get all my work done this week. I'm actually recording, which it'll be out by the time this episode comes out. We're doing a episode all about the Mario movie for Joystick Drift, which we're recording that tonight. I then have to edit it and have it out before 3 a.m. So it's gonna be a late night. Really looking forward to it. Just got to turn on the music vibes and just go for it. You know what I mean? So other than that, I do know
what you mean.
Other than that, I got nothing.
Yeah, I mean, when it's so hard when we pre-record, because I got all of my week stuff out of the way last time. But I do want to bring up a new list that I have made. Oh. I'd like to share my this is an opinion based. You can fill it in as you'd like, but this is top 10 most embarrassing things to get hit by. And I thought long and hard about this, okay?
Okay, Darren, go ahead.
Number 10 is A Smooth Criminal.
Da-da!
Number 9, A Wet Noodle.
Da-da!
Because Not a dry noodle because it goes. No, a wet noodle.
Well, no, the dry noodle will break.
Yeah, you just get a little little wet slap on there. Number 8, a snowball. No one's ready for how much a snowball actually hurts when it's like a good
That's
throw. Fair. Like that hurts, and it like explodes on you, and they laugh, and you're like, dang, that's embarrassing.
Dang, that's crazy.
Number 7, your mom. Because I don't know about you, but if I was like, no, okay, so it's the joke, your mom, but also when I like growing up, if I was hanging out with friends and my mom would like smack me for something because I deserved it, then I would always be embarrassed. That's my route for
when
that.
you said your mom, I thought you were like the worst thing you get hit with is your mom. Like when you're arguing with someone and they're like your mom, and
your
it's
mom.
like,
It's like, no,
Uno reverse card.
that
Your
hurt.
mom. Got him.
Actually, your mother.
Got him.
Number 6 is gonna be a rake, because if you just like when you step on a rake and it just goes like that is embarrassing as heck. Like I should have seen that on the ground. You know what I'm talking about?
Should have watched enough cartoons to know not to step on a rake.
That's what I'm saying. Just go. There's an episode of The Simpsons where there's like this 2-minute bit of him, like he turns around and steps on a rake and it hits him, and then he turns around and there's another one and it hits him.
Oh yeah.
And it just goes on for way too long, and it's hilarious. Number 5 is gonna be a door, because you know when you're just getting hit by a door, especially an automatic door, I feel it's kind of embarrassing. Like
but automatic doors. Oh yeah, it would be extra embarrassing if it was an automatic door because they're literally programmed for like it's so easy to not get hit by an automatic door.
That's what I'm saying. Now, if someone else is holding the door and they like don't see you, or you just kind of like walk into one, understandable, still embarrassing, but getting hit by a door is pretty bad. All right, we're in the top 5. Number 5 is door. Number 4, okay. I'm going to say food. Little food fight action. Embarrassing. You better hold your honor in a food fight or else. That's all I'm saying.
Or else.
Or else. Number 3, I'm going to say a shoe. Like, someone hates you so much that they care enough to not wear their shoe anymore, to take it off their foot and throw it at you. That's embarrassing. And like a shoe, like this is smelly. A smelly shoe.
Not necessarily.
I mean, necessarily. I mean,
I
mean, it was on.
Not all shoes smell though.
Okay, I see your point, but there's like it's like the whole like this was on my foot. That's like some dishonor that you're throwing at someone right here.
And also, this shoe has stepped in various different things.
That's what I'm saying.
Dog poop, gum,
mulch,
anything on the ground.
You know, mud.
If it's on the ground, it's disgusting.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's some serious dishonor, getting hit by a shoe.
Plants on the ground, disgusting.
Disgusting. Number 2, pretty embarrassing to get hit by a car, TBH.
I was really hoping a car was on this list. I was like, I will add it if it's not.
How dumb do you have to be to get hit by a car? Okay. You know what? There are reckless drivers. That's a thing.
Excuse me. I did get hit by a car.
Yeah, in your car.
And it wasn't my fault.
Okay. When I say hit by a car, I mean like I'm crossing the street and then a semi goes, not like
not a car
fender
accident.
bender.
Okay,
No, not a car accident. Like I'm walking on the street and I get hit by a
you
car.
Just get railed by a bus.
Bam, like Mean Girls school bus. Like, I feel like there is a lot of distracted driving. That's a thing.
That's
but
true.
also, it's not that hard to just pay attention as a pedestrian, in my opinion. Number 1, most embarrassing thing to get hit by is piano/anvil. Because you have so much time when it's falling straight down. You have so much time to move. But you just got to look up, wave goodbye, and take the L.
So are you implying that it's impossible to dodge like a falling piano? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's embarrassing to get hit by one because it's so possible to move.
Is it really, though?
Yeah. In all of the cartoons, that always falls for like 15 seconds, and they just stand there.
Yeah, but cartoon gravity is different than Earth gravity.
Okay,
So...
well, I also put Rake on this list, so I don't know what
True.
you want from
Fair
me.
point. I was really hoping that number 1 would be a bullet. It's embarrassing to die, actually.
Hey, guys, dying is kind of cringe, so...
Dying is
That can mean honorable mention is bullet. There you go. Top 10
honorable
things.
Honorable mention to bullets, knives, swords.
Knives, swords.
Hopefully you can get the knives out.
You know, knives out.
Otherwise, you're going to be stuck with a glass onion. You see what I did there? I don't know what the glass onion came in, but it did.
The glass onion. I'm really curious about why is it called glass onion?
Plot twist.
Has layers?
Because it has layers. Just like an ogre. It has
but
layers.
You can see through the layers.
Live on the episode. Franchise revisit Shrek.
I did have someone tell me. No, put that down. Write that down. Write that down. Write that down. I did have someone tell me that Shrek 2 is actually like one of the greatest movies ever made, which I'm like, oh, okay, that's crazy. Like, I didn't know that. I need to go watch it. I don't think I've ever seen it. If I have, it's been a long time. But that's the word on the street. Is Shrek 2 is an amazing movie. So,
if anybody wants to drop franchise revisit recommendations, our DMs are open on Instagram.
DMs are open. You can also
we
go
have
to
a pretty
the contact
sizable
us page on the website.
list.
Oh, yeah. We're not short
list
for recommendations, but there's so many franchises we want to hit. Like, please let us know.
Yeah, let us know which ones you think would be... I can't believe you added Twilight to this list.
Why not? What's wrong with Twilight?
Why?
We're talking about Morbius today.
I mean, Morbius is just the MCU fans' Twilight. Let's be real.
Amen. Like, I'm just saying, wouldn't it... We can't just do normal franchises. I'm here for the super obscure, like...
I don't think Alvin and the Chipmunks is a normal franchise. Just
the Squeakquel?
throwing that out there.
Hey, yo!
I mean, I had a friend who was in Chipwrecked, so... I mean, I was in 5th grade, so I don't know who she is now, but...
My gosh.
She was in the movie.
Ugh.
She would not let us live it down. She would not let us shut up about it.
So...
Actors, am I right? Crazy.
Am I right? Wow. Wow. Anyway, so do you want to transition into the movie I finished an hour ago?
First, I'm going to go over reviews for the Nerdiest podcast on Apple Podcasts.
We have reviews? Really? Wow.
Yes, we do. We have 10 ratings. We have an average score of 4.9 out of 5, which is always good, which means means 2 people put 4 stars and 8 people put 10 or 5.
Okay. You know what? I'll
take it though. It's not a 1 star.
I respect it.
I guarantee you the 2
do,
4 stars came from me saying No Way Home's not a good movie. I guarantee you that's where it came
or Cars 2 or Cars.
Yeah,
Cars
one of those
stands.
like it's it's actually Megan's friends on different accounts giving us 4 stars. Well, no, I feel like they'd give us a 1 star. They have that much spite.
Where's the reviews? I don't see that.
Oh, I can only see them on Apple Podcasts Connect.
The Connect, yeah.
I have to be logged in.
Go
on
for
the thing.
it.
There are no reviews.
Okay, well, go write a review and we'll read it on the show.
I just wanted to shout it out so that people see. I do check it, and if you do write in on Apple Podcasts, or even if you're on Spotify, and you can rate us on Spotify, but you can't leave a comment. So if you want to leave a comment, just walk over to Apple Podcasts, open it up on your iPhone, put 5 stars, and then leave a review. And you can say, hey, I'm from Spotify, but here's my written review, and we'll read it out on the show. So
there you go.
I'm going to keep saying that until someone does it. Someone's got to do it eventually.
Literally, the first person to write a review for Apple Podcasts, we'll read it on the show. How about that, huh? How about that?
Also, I realized, I think 2 episodes ago, I said the first person to find the Nerdiest podcast on Twitch and DM it to us gets a free sticker. I then tried to do it myself, and it's actually not searchable because there's no public videos.
So, hey, the challenge is still up, though. If you... it would be even more impressive. Yeah, if you can find
it somehow, I'll leave it there.
Oh, my gosh.
I'll also incentivize, I guess... buy
stickers.
10th 10th review gets a free sticker. 10th Apple Podcast review gets a free sticker. I've said it.
Only one review per person.
The easiest way to get merch out the door is give it away
one
for
review
free.
per person.
One review per person. I will not. Well, Apple Podcast only lets you do one.
Okay. So
also one more thing.
Oh my God.
And then we can go into Mobius.
Going into Mobius.
Going into Mobius.
At the beginning of this, he said, "How many times do you think I'm gonna say Mobius by accident?" And I said, "At least 3."
All right, that's one. This is off the record, so listeners, just stop listening for like 30 seconds. Okay, I'm not gonna tell him, but would it be wrong of me today, after the Mario movie trailer comes out, to DM AJ on Instagram and ask if we can call Genre Geeks for a Mario movie review? Is that too far out in advance?
Is that too far out in advance?
Is April too far out in advance to pre-call that?
I think a tentative call.
Yeah, can I be like, can we tentatively have you on retainer for this episode specifically?
Anywho,
can we just like put our name at the top of the list?
For
so
Mario
when everybody
movie
else
review?
wants one, our name's already there.
Yeah. You gotta. There's
do-
celebrities. You gotta put your name on the list.
I'll wait till the trailer comes out. Maybe tomorrow or like this weekend. I'll do it. Not right after, because if you do it right after the trailer comes out, that seems a little needy and desperate, you know.
Genre geeks are celebrities. You gotta secure your place in right when things come out.
I mean, to be fair, we did secure them for an Andor review, so that should be happening in November.
Unless it doesn't,
which I'm really excited. Yeah, unless it doesn't, which
you know
how
how
who's
that goes.
To say? We'll see.
Anywho,
Morbius.
Back to the record.
Morbin time, baby. You want to go first? General thoughts on? I almost said Morbius. Morbius.
So, I think the biggest thing to note is this movie is a meme. It is hardcore, like arguably one of the biggest memes of this year. Just because I think Jared Leto is generally kind of a meme, especially after his Joker. And he's just kind of a wacky guy. And also, they delayed this movie so long that I felt like I've been watching the trailers for this movie for 4 years. So that didn't help. And then it's just I'll say it. It's a bad movie. This is a bad movie.
It's a really bad movie.
This is a bad movie. And so it waited so long and there was so much hype and then it was really bad and the backlash was so awful. And then they re-released it because they thought that they'd be like, oh, well, it's just if everyone's going to go see it in the theaters. And then it flopped even harder a second time, which is just embarrassing.
We gaslit Sony into re-releasing it and losing more money.
Embarrassing. So that the full context out of the way. General thoughts, I think it wasn't as bad as I was expecting. That's what I will say. I think solely acting-wise, Jared Leto is not bad.
I mean, I would beg to differ, but
I think solely acting-wise, he did okay. Like, nothing super special, but it's alright. And I think the story is actually like a good concept. I think it's like kind of cool the way that he's like a doctor and like his friend and but it just fell into like every single trope possible but with bad characters, which I'm also going to say spoilers for Morbius. No duh. Or you should, and you
I don't
shouldn't
think
even,
anybody cares about
you
spoilers for this
shouldn't
movie.
care.
I went
you
into
shouldn't
it
care.
completely spoiled and I didn't care.
Yeah. So, and then they did like, oh, his mentor died, and like, oh, the girl he loves is in danger. But I'm like, don't care about any of the characters.
And then she dies, but doesn't really die.
And I just don't care about any of the characters because this movie is so rushed the entire time.
It did feel really rushed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
It starts and then it's going and then it's going and it's going. And for a movie where a lot happens, nothing really happened. It's just like, there's a problem. Well, we fixed it. Well, there's another problem. Okay, I fixed that.
But we got that covered.
Well, what about that problem? Oh, let me just fix that.
And then,
look, Michael Keaton.
What? The best friend turns into a vampire, but we never see him actually take the vial. Like, you see, there's a shot where you see him look at the 2 vials that were left.
Mm-hmm.
But you never see him, like, walk over and slip one in his pocket. Or, like, walk over and pick it up, look at it, and then it cuts away, and you don't know if he took it or not. And then he just shows up and he's a vampire, which is kind of weird because it's like, it's a super easy shot that I guarantee you they filmed, and it got cut for some reason.
Absolutely.
Or maybe they didn't. I don't know if I want to give them that much benefit of the doubt. Maybe they didn't record it at all.
I even was confused at that point when he was, where I like was watching and I said, oh, well, I guess he's a vampire now. Like, that was not clear to me at all. Yeah. And finishing up general thoughts, it's boring. Not a lot happens.
I was really bored.
I was pretty bored. I was like texting most of the time, which is like such a Gen Z, like, oh, I was texting during the movie. But no, really, I was having a separate conversation while watching this movie. And I'm just kind of like, it's generally not a fan. It was just boring. Computer effects were questionable.
Oh, don't even give me. We're gonna talk about the CGI.
It was kind of. I would argue that it was lazily directed. Just kind of. I didn't see a lot of intentionality with the direction, and so it's just kind of like. It only a movie. Like it's my favorite part about the movie is it feels like a movie.
Yeah, my favorite part about the movie was the end credits, actually.
The freaking like synthwave, like
the synthwave opening and like the opening credits and the ending credits had the most flair of the entire movie.
Yeah, and they had no connection to the actual movie at all. That was the most
opinionated part of the movie. Was that? So,
which is funny because they just did that because the movie has no aesthetic.
Exactly. My general thoughts, this is a bad movie. It is a very bad movie. I was hoping it would be like a Cars 2 situation where it's like, okay, well, everybody hates the movie because they think it's bad, but it's not really that bad. And then I watched it and I was like, no, this is bad.
It's that bad.
This is the worst movie I've seen all year. It felt rushed, like you said. It didn't really give me any time or reason to get attached to any of the characters. The only reason I felt sad when the mentor died is because that's how you're supposed to feel when a mentor character dies, not because I actually had any connection to that character. And also the whole thing of like, oh, well, Jared Leto isn't gonna, like, he's not gonna drink the red blood because he's a good person. And it's like, but then he does. But then he does drink the red blood. And it's like, well, you know, kind of broke your own rules there. And then he, like, sucks the blood out of his girlfriend because she's going to die anyway. Mm-hmm. And, like, his best friend never had any reason to kill her other than he made a sly comment about how romance is bad because women are bad. And I'm like, okay, buddy, listen.
Some real
just
alpha male.
Just because you're crippled doesn't mean you get to make fun of other people, okay?
Okay. Some real alpha male. You were bullied. Some real alpha male behavior going on here. I'm not a fan of.
We get it. You were bullied. Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah. Super sad. Jeez. Anyway.
Wow. Had to do it to him.
The movie kind of felt all over the place because it started out with going to collect the bats, which to me felt like I was missing a scene.
Yeah.
Like he didn't explain why he was going to get the bats until like 20 minutes later. And he's already got the bats in a container and he's killed multiple of them to experiment on them. And he's like, oh yeah, that's what I'm doing with this. And I'm like, well, I feel like you should have had one bat that you were experimenting on, said that that's what you were experimenting on, and then gone and got the other bats.
Which just contributes
then,
to the rushed feeling.
Right.
Because it's like, there's so many holes that are being filled with like crummy dialogue that makes me go, oh, okay, I guess that's a thing. It's like, why though?
Yeah. And then like it skips around because it goes from, okay, we're catching bats to, okay, well now it's a flashback.
Whoa.
And also, what really bothered me is that Michael Morbius, as a crippled kid in an orphanage or like in a whatever hospital type thing, I don't know, he was doing that, and then like his friend like lumps over and the machine starts making noise, and then all he does is switch out like a spring from that thing and puts in a spring from his pen, and then he gets called into the office and they're like, oh my God, Michael, you're a genius. You need to go to school in New York. You're so smart. You're going to be the smartest guy out there, like the smartest guy ever. And that's all it takes. It's not like he saved a life, but it's not like he performed a life-saving surgery and was like, oh my gosh, you have like really steady hands, or like you're really calm under pressure. Like you have all these other things that would make you a good doctor.
It was just like you fixed that one machine with a spring. That one time.
That one time. It's not even like it was not a pattern of things he had done before. It was that one thing.
And then they said that he like got his like PhD at like 15 or something like that. And I'm like,
yeah, homie, real like, Sheldon Cooper type over
homie
here.
like took apart a pen and like put it in the thing. Like, did he even know what he was doing? Like, I feel like he was just like Hail Mary type, like, try that. And it was like, okay, bet. Like, get out of here. This man is not a genius.
And it worked.
I guessed.
Yeah, I can't. It also, like, the whole thing where he's like, oh yeah, I don't even remember how he phrased it, but he was like, I dissed the entire, like, Swedish king and queen or whatever for my Nobel Prize on this great work that I've done because I'm so good. I'm such a great doctor. So I don't know.
Yeah, did we even see him diss them? I was very confused by that.
No, they called him up. The guy, his like caretaker or whatever. His name is Nicholas, by the way. I thought it was funny. There was a Nicholas and a Michael in the same movie who knew each other, which is my first and last name, or first and middle name, which was really interesting. But yeah, like the guy is like, oh yes, Dr. Michael Morbius, you got your PhD at the ripe young age of birth, and well, you see, you're such a really great guy. So come accept this Nobel Peace Prize. And then he gets up and disses them, but we don't see him diss them because they cut back to the hospital in New York, and he explains it. And he tells it to the girl instead of showing us him dissing them and then like mentioning it in passing with the girl, which, by the way, no significance ever put on that girl. Like,
no, literally, who even is that?
It would be one thing. Okay, easy fix for that. Make her have the same kind of disease he has with whatever's going on with his legs. And then he has a vested interest aside from himself, because his whole like, oh, I want to like make it so that my friend and I can walk. That's totally fine. But from a character's perspective, that's very selfish and self-centered. So if you were to give that same disability to the girl in the hospital, you could then have now he has a more outward and selfless reason for wanting to find a cure that works, that doesn't turn you into a blood-sucking vampire,
which would make me
and it would have been really easy
more.
Too. It would have been really easy too.
Would have been really easy, and it would have made me like him more, because he's like would have been trying to help this little girl in the hospital instead of him just being like, I don't want to be like that anymore. Which, like, valid, but also like, he turned himself into a vampire. Is that really better?
Yeah, like
yeah. I also just want to say this movie is gross. This movie is just disgusting. he's like guzzling these bags of blood the entire movie, and I'm like,
It's just grape juice. like
it's tomato
well, actually,
juice.
no. Knowing
was
Jared
chug
Leto,
jug.
it might be blood.
He was like, I'm method acting, and we're like, get out
Guys,
of
I'm
here,
method
Jared.
acting. I need to drink the blood.
And we're like, Jared, get out of here. It's like that blue blood was real chug jug from Fortnite. Okay. That was his
Where's
method
the
acting.
Fortnite crossover with Morbius? Actually, wait. I think there is a Morbius skin in Fortnite. Hold on.
Wait, hold on.
I'm gonna cross-reference this. I think there is.
Skin of Fortnite. Yes, there is one.
Is there really? Is it Jared?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Please.
It looks so much like Jared Leto too.
Ew.
That's the worst part. It looks like Jared Leto.
I cannot stand Jared Leto. Like, just...
It's Morbin time. Where's the Morbin time email?
It's Morbin time. You know, it's just... It was really gross, and they tried so hard to connect it to the MCU. Like, they wanted him to be in Spider-Man No Way Home. Really
They
bad.
really did.
They really wanted him.
The thing that bothers me the most about that is it was all post-credits. Was every connection to the MCU. Because you see the little, like, the purple rift open up in the sky from No Way Home, and then Michael Keaton's Vulture just kind of shows up.
For no reason.
In that prison cell. They're
Literally
like,
no reason.
oh my gosh, this guy shows up in a random empty prison cell. His trial will be whenever, and he'll be released. And then it does more credits, and then you get to the end where it's Jared Leto's driving out in his, like, of course, the sponsored car or whatever. And he stops, and then the Vulture shows up. Where did he get all his Vulture gear from? He didn't come with it. He came in a prison jumpsuit. Like... It'd be one thing if he showed up and he, like, had all the gear still attached because he was still,
Yeah.
Which, that, by the way, really messes with the timeline because, as far as we're aware, Michael Keaton's Vulture in the MCU is the only version of Michael Keaton's Vulture. Or it's the only version of Vulture that is Michael Keaton that also knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And he died in Homecoming. So he wasn't even still alive. So why did he show up? Which one, he shouldn't have gone anywhere because he was dead.
No.
But also, he, like, even if he went right before death like they were supposed to, like all the other villains came in, why didn't he come in with all of his Vulture wings and
That's
stuff
what I'm
still
saying.
on him?
Which I also...
It doesn't make any sense.
I also have to bring up the question, does this Michael Keaton Vulture know Peter Parker as Spider-Man? Because he knew who he was, died, and then what's the... like, I think everyone's was erased, and then he came back.
Yes.
What's the time?
I don't know.
What's the time? This makes sense.
It really pains me because, you know, you could argue like, oh, well, you know, it's not that big a deal because, you know, Morbius takes place at the same time as Homecoming. Well, because of the purple rift in the sky, we can tell you that's not true.
No, yeah.
Because that purple rift
No Way
comes
Home.
in No Way Home, which is years after Homecoming. It's not even like it's months. It's years. Because you have to go through the 5-year time skip for the snap, at least. So it's really, ugh. They did not think that all the way through.
They really wanted this movie to be connected to, like, Spider-Man and Venom, and it just didn't work. And I don't want to sound mean when I say this. I hope we never see Dr. Michael Morbius in a movie ever again. Because they joked about a sequel, and I feel
don't know
like
if it's true or not.
I don't
know.
I don't think it's a good idea to make a sequel, because you could say, oh, well, what if because of the meme it comes back and it fills theaters? It wouldn't. I would not go see a Morbius 2 in theaters unless the tagline was "It's Morbin time." That's my exception.
Sony almost got $20 out of me for the DVD, but then like I was like, oh, I'll go to Target tomorrow and get it, and then I saw they put it on Netflix, and I was like, oh, thank God, I can save myself $20.
That was close.
That was
you
a
were
close
gonna
one.
get the DVD? Why?
Yeah, I was. I don't know why.
Just
I
to
could have just
flex.
rented it on Amazon Prime.
I mean, just to flex with the physical media of Morbius.
I guess so.
Dang.
I will say another thing about the end credit or the post credit scene. You can tell they redubbed that scene way too many times, just because of how like his head is moving. And I guarantee you that wasn't even Michael Keaton.
Oh,
like they probably couldn't
absolutely
get him
not.
for that role because he had the mask on.
Yeah.
And he's like sitting there. Well, you know, this probably has something to do with Spider-Man. And then like his head would stop moving after the line of dialogue, and I'm like, yeah, you dubbed that over in post because you had to change it. Because remember, Morbius was supposed to come out before No Way Home.
Yeah.
And then it came out after. Like they flipped No Way Home and Venom 2. They were supposed to come out opposite of each other. Which, by the way, I would watch both Venom movies before I would ever watch Morbius again. Because
Same.
at least those had some kind of substance, character, plot, interesting visuals, decent looking CGI. Like, this is just a bad movie.
The only good thing I have to say about this movie is there was one particular scene that I thought was cool. And it was at the very end when he's like doing his final fight and he calls all the bats in. I thought that one 15-second clip was kind of cool.
Oh, you mean the bat Kamehameha?
Yeah.
Where he like tucks his hands back and then like throws it forward. I was like, all right, which Dragon Ball fan choreographed this fight?
And then it's so funny, like they're looking into the giant hole and all the bats fly out, he flies out, and then his girlfriend like wakes up and she's like, oh my gosh. I literally started laughing. Which is really really bad, but I was laughing and I said, I'm sorry? What is happening? And they left it open-ended, like they were gonna like be like, oh, this is it. This is gonna be our next franchise. This is it, guys.
Yeah, this is our next 5 movies, by the way.
This is the new Spider-Man. Step aside, Tom Holland. Jared Leto is taking the spotlight.
Also, for somebody who like kills his best friend and like someone he considered a brother, there was no emotion there. Like, he was like, yep, you're dead, let's go, and then he moves on, and I'm like, no remorse, no difficulty like he didn't even show any difficulty in doing it.
No, he was just like,
his
bye-bye.
girlfriend showed more remorse and sympathy than he did.
His girlfriend,
he was like, yes, I have to kill him.
And they had like been together for like 2 days when that happened, and like
not even 2 days. They had been together for like 2 hours.
Not even that. Like
they have that rooftop makeout or whatever, and then I think within the next 4 hours she gets kidnapped and dies.
Yeah, it was like they really.
This is why you don't kiss Jared Leto, ladies. You'll die.
Hey,
literally.
I could write an essay on why you shouldn't kiss Jared Leto, but I think they really wanted a damsel in distress and didn't realize that until the very end, and said, oh, who can we stick him with? They're like, we need some stakes for him to come to this other guy. Oh, what if he captures his girl? He doesn't have a girl. Okay, get him a girl. We don't have a lot of girls in this movie. Give him that one. Okay. Like that's what it feels like to me.
This movie feels very much like a first draft script.
It does.
Like there's a lot of good ideas here. And what I will say, the one like redeeming quality, I guess, of this movie is, during when they're on the container ship and he's like jumping around through the vents and like, grabbing people and sucking them up and dragging them to the side. And, so, I think when they really leaned into that, I think that would have made a better movie if they really said, you know what, Morbius is going to be a rated R horror movie, and just went with that. This could have been so much better. But it felt like there was a lot of the like MCU PG-13 stuff that was holding them back from going just all in on the horror, because it is a vampire. He sucks people's blood.
Yeah,
like,
literally.
That's kind of dark and crazy. So,
and there's some dark,
and
crazy
like,
moments, but
yeah, it's not like Twilight where it's like, oh, let me get super close and suck the blood out of your neck because we're in love and you want to do, like, it's not like that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm going to attack you because you were antagonizing me in a bar.
Yeah, and dude,
and I'm going to kill you, actually.
The death count in this movie is insanely high. Like, there's all
from the friend, by the way. None from Morbius himself. He never actually kills anyone. Wait, no, that's a lie.
on the cargo ship.
He kills the people on the ship, but other than that, and even then, okay, that is the one time he showed remorse in this movie. He showed more remorse and felt worse for killing the people on the container ship who were, to use the words of the investigation agents or whatever, I don't even know what organization they're with. He was like, well, they were probably bad people anyway, so,
which is like a terrible argument.
Jail them or whatever. Well, I thought that's the route they were going to go down, because there's this show called Santa Clarita Diet, which is not a show for kids, by the way.
Is that what
it's
Drew
hilarious.
Barrymore?
Like, yeah, it's hilarious. Oh, it's Drew Barrymore and what's his name? Timothy Olyphant.
Oh, I wouldn't have guessed that.
They're a husband-wife couple. It's great. Netflix canned it way too early, like right before the last season, so we'll never know how it ends. But I should rewatch that. It was good. Anyway, the thing, she gets turned into a zombie, and like she has this craving to eat people, but their workaround is, okay, well, I'm only going to eat bad people, like convicted criminals and neo-Nazis and like all these bad people who are bad people. And I thought that's the route they were going to go with Morbius, where it's like, okay, well, he needs the blood, so he's only going to suck the blood of criminals and stuff who are bad people.
No.
Because that makes it it's not morally okay either way, but it gives you a story justification to keep the character the way he is.
Yeah.
So...
But
also, the effectiveness of the blood just, like, didn't even surpass the end of the movie.
No, it didn't.
Like... Yeah, I don't know. that kind of felt like Deus Ex Machina to me, where they were like, he needs to be out of using the blue blood by the time we get to the end of this movie, because that's too convenient. That makes too much sense for him to drink the blue blood. So we need to force him to drink the red blood. So we'll just destroy the effectiveness of it in like 10 minutes.
Just because.
Just for funsies.
And then he starts like stealing the blood from the EMTs, and I'm like, homie, what? And but that's the thing. It's an interesting concept to be like, he's the doctor that created that stuff, and now he's a vampire and like kind of needs it to survive. But it was just executed so incredibly poorly that I'm just like cringing as I watch it. It's just not. That's not it.
Yeah, they could have done so much more with this movie, and then they didn't. Like, not even to touch on. I'll go to my notes in a second. I've gone completely without notes this whole time. But like, I'm looking on here, the shot in the trailer where they have Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and it has murderer over it, and at some point there was a shot of like you could see the Oscorp building in there too. Neither of those things were in the movie. Neither of those things were in the actual film, because I was looking for them, and they're not there, which means either they were there and they deemed, you know what, that's not important, so we're going to cut it out, and it just happened to get cut out, or they knew it wasn't going to be in there, film those shots intentionally, and try to get people in the theater with the lure of, oh, well, this is the same universe as Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and there's Oscorp. Like, they're trying to bring you in with these other things that you're already attached to, and it's stupid, it's false advertising, and you shouldn't ever do that, because that loses you points with people.
Oh, absolutely. And it's low-key illegal. Low-key illegal.
Yeah, actually it is.
There's a really good film theory video about like how you can technically sue for Morbius because it's false advertising. And there have been crazier lawsuits that have won based on this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you go to your notes. I didn't make notes, just because I was just kind of in shock, and I was like, I didn't even think to make notes. I was like, this is awful.
My favorite note is my favorite note that I wrote down. It's from the scene where he first turns into a vampire on the ship, and like he blacks out after killing all the people, and then he wakes up. And like he's walking around and sees himself in a mirror, and he has like he went from being this anorexic, skinny, like you can see his ribs sticking out his chest to I have a six-pack now. And like
the
biceps
biggest
and,
pecs I've seen in my
real
life.
What
even?
Hold on. So I literally wrote Mr. Morb gets a magic six-pack with the like raised eyebrow emoji. Like that's not how this works. And his friend did it too. Don't even get me started on Matt Smith dancing shirtless.
My gosh.
I can't. Why was that in the movie?
I think
it didn't need to be there.
I saw the purpose of it because he was like finally able to move around for the first time in his life. But I'm also like, is that how you should have conveyed that?
Is that the best way to convey that emotion? No,
it's not.
Okay.
This is cringy. It's awful.
And then I called the blue blood slurp juice, which it's fine. Oh, here's another great one. Mr. Morb keeps a low profile as to not be discovered. This is when he goes back to the hospital after turning into a vampire. After pointing out that, like, he is supposedly this really, like, world-renowned famous doctor, Dr. Michael Morbius. Like, everybody knows Dr. Michael Morbius. He's a super renowned, super great guy. And then when he goes back to the hospital, he's walking around with, like, a hood on and stuff, so nobody knows it's him. And, like, he expects not to get discovered. Like, dude, you're partially famous for not being able to walk without crutches, and now you're walking without crutches. What did you think was going to happen?
Yeah.
Because he goes out into international waters to do this illegal experiment. That's why it's in international waters. And I'm like, okay, you didn't think that all the way through. If it does work and you're able to walk normally again, how do you explain that when you get back? How do you explain that to other people? Oh, yeah, it's a miracle from God. I can walk, I guess. I don't know what happened.
It's a miracle, it's interesting. Morbius had a budget of $75 million, which is pretty low for like these superhero movies. That's really low.
I guess that's true.
It grossed in U.S. and global gross was $163 million.
No, so they broke even and made a profit.
But the U.S. and Canada were only $73 million.
Oh yeah, so they made their money back from the U.S. and Canada alone.
They like almost broke even with U.S.
So they
and Canada.
they have no financial incentive to not make a sequel then.
Which is
because to
terrible.
them this wasn't a loss. If it was a loss, then
yeah. But also the re-release was a huge loss. They re-released,
but
they tried to re-release it and it made $300K, which for movies is bad.
Please tell me this person is still on Facebook.
It went to double the theaters that whatever the freaking Dumbledore movie was and earned half the money.
Yeah, I saw that.
Cringe. What are you looking for on Facebook?
I was trying to find a picture. Let me see if it's in. Maybe there's one if I go to my groups, maybe. If I can go all the way back. I'm trying to see because the whole time I was watching Morbius, I was like, Jared Leto looks like somebody I used to go to church with.
Oh my gosh.
But the funny part is he looks like a girl I used to go to church with. Okay, there's groups. Okay, hold on. Maybe if I didn't leave
Jared
the
Leto
group.
looks like a girl I used to
Oh,
go
good.
to
I didn't leave the
church
group.
with.
Thank God. Oh, okay. There's one picture. I gotta find a better picture so I can show you
my
for context.
Gosh. Jared Leto kind of
can't-
looks like a girl I used to go to church with.
He really does.
That's amazing.
Let me see. There's got to be a picture of her on here somewhere. A lot of these
Gosh.
pictures are not loading because they're also from 2017. So,
Oh, you know. Did Morbius?
maybe in here? Let me look. Ew, it's so weird to see all these people because they look so young. But, this was also 2017, so...
2017 was
know.
5 years ago.
Ew, stop it.
Stop.
Enough of that. Get out of here.
What else can I say about Jared Leto? He's just a creep. Jared Leto is creepy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think
Also,
we gotta...
they tried to have this buddy cop thing going on with those two officers, but never took any time to establish it. So it was just kind of there sometimes. And I was just supposed to accept that was their relationship, I guess. I don't know.
Here we go. Here we go. I'm gonna put it in Discord.
I'm not gonna share this on air, but can you text it to me?
Oh, I guess I can text it to you. Hold on, let me.
I'm running the video. I can't get off of the Discord.
That's true. Good point. No. Okay, hold on. Pull up messages. Drag it over here. Okay, now drag the JPEG over here.
I can't show this on air,
Put
but
it in. Okay.
You'll have to take my word for it.
So if you look at the picture, you can find me somewhat on the far left. Okay.
Let me see.
And then if you go down to the people who are kneeling and sitting on the ground, she's the one who has the Jean-esque thing on. I don't know how to describe
On the left?
it. Next to the person in the yellow shirt.
Wait, the overalls?
If you see, yeah. If you zoom in on her face, she looks exactly like Jared Leto.
Can I show this on air? I don't think I can.
No, don't do it.
I don't think I can. Wait, let me look at Jared Leto without a beard.
The funny thing is, half the movie, I was like, yeah, if you take off Jared Leto's beard, they look exactly the same. Maybe not the same, but they look like they could be distant,
Do you remember her
siblings.
name?
I do, but I don't want to say it on air.
You can say her first name.
No, it's Peyton.
Old Peyton.
And looks exactly like.
Oh my gosh! Stop. That's so feral. Unhinged.
I hate it.
Anyway.
So much. Here, let me continue to ruin the movie for you. I think the Morbius vampire form in half the shots looked like an angry Keanu Reeves.
Oh, you're right. Interesting. That honestly makes it better. If Keanu Reeves is in this movie, it would be so much better.
I mean,
I'm sorry. We'll wrap it up here, but this is a bad movie.
T-minus 1 hour till things will never be the same again.
The Mario trailer releases today of recording, by the way.
Yep.
That's what I'll say. This isn't even a fun bad movie, in my opinion. This is just a please don't watch that bad movie. So closing statements. You just got really excited.
We're getting Demon Slayer season 3 news on October 15th.
Okay, good job.
I was wondering when
Way
it was
to go.
coming.
Way to go.
Because it had to be coming early next year. Closing thoughts. This is a bad movie. Don't watch it.
Please don't watch it.
Even if you have nothing better to do with your life. Even if you're like, well, I have nothing better to do with my life right now. Should I watch Morbius on Netflix? No.
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 It's not even worth
Watch
it
Cars
if you're
2
just
on
curious.
Disney Plus.
Amen. Even if you're just curious and say, surely it's not that bad. It's that bad. Don't watch it.
Yes, it is that bad.
It's
Can't
not
confirm.
even worth the curiosity.
Nope.
Also, what has Matt Smith been in?
He was in Doctor Who.
Was
I
he
think.
Doctor Who? Yeah,
he was one of the
doctors
doctors in Doctor Who. He was one of the more popular ones.
He was in Last Night
What
in
a fall
Soho.
from grace. How do you go from Doctor? Oh, he was the villain in Last Night in Soho. Oh,
Dang.
well, maybe that's a spoiler. Oh, by the way, Last Night in Soho is on HBO Max, so you should watch it.
Oh.
I just discovered that this week, and I'm very excited
Interesting.
because I kind of want to watch it again.
Yeah, Matt Smith is like a pretty credited actor.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, what a fall from
Yikes.
grace. Maybe they thought Morbius was going to be good.
I really want to know if they thought it would be, because they waited so long to release it. Like, they were like, guys, this is really special. We really need to wait for it. And it's
I also feel like
not.
Sony doesn't have the same, because like I don't know if you heard, but how do I say his name? Mahershala Ali, is that how you say his name? He came out and said the script for Blade is bad.
Oh no.
Like it's a 90-page script with 2 action scenes or something like that.
Oh no.
And I was listening to it. Shout out to Genre Geeks. I was listening to it on their episode. That's where I got the news from. And apparently, like they were talking, like, oh yeah, Marvel will change that script to appease Mahershala Ali. They're not gonna make him angry because they don't want him to walk off, because they already they let the director go, and they're choosing someone else. And
Yeah.
I don't think Sony has that same kind of reputation where they'll take a step back and be like, ooh, the actors don't like this movie. Like, well, yeah, maybe we should reevaluate and relook at it. I think they were like, well, the actors don't like this movie. Well, too bad.
Sucks to suck.
We wrote it, and your contract says you're acting in it. So,
So
got 'em.
go for it.
You're stuck.
Which,
nice
not
try.
to say that if Jared Leto had a say in this movie, it'd be any better. But
no, I think it would have been worse if Jared
Yeah.
Leto had a.
he would be like, more blood. But
Wait. Hold
what?
on. Let me make sure he doesn't have it. He might have a producing credit. Hold on.
I don't know. It's just painful. I'm like,
Also,
dang.
did you know? I don't know how to say her name. Adira Arjonia, I think.
Yeah. She's the girl.
The
in this
girlfriend.
movie.
She's the girl in Andor, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Daggum.
Which is really interesting because I looked at her. I was like, oh my gosh, you look so familiar.
Interesting.
Also, imagine being listed under Michael Keaton in this movie, who is solely in a post-credit scene, and you had more time in the actual movie. That's kind of cringe.
That's cringe. Anyway, I don't have anything else to say. So what?
Jared Leto has an executive producer credit
No.
on IMDb, so he was involved with the movie. No.
I'm gonna close and say, don't watch it. It's not worth it.
Don't watch it.
I'm never gonna watch it again.
It's bad.
So, unless you
I
have
don't-
anything else to say, I'm saying.
No.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Nerdiest Podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to stay up to date with what we're doing here, you can follow us on Instagram at the Nerdiest Podcast, at Twitter at Nerdiest Pod, and on TikTok at the Nerdiest Podcast, where we will be posting updates, new episodes, clips, polls, fun stuff. So go follow on all those places, and Instagram is our biggest one, but you can also buy stickers with the link in the description. We have 3 designs for $3 a piece with our amazing sticker partner Hannah. And how many did we sell? Any more since last episode?
I don't know. I haven't asked.
We
her.
we haven't kept up with sales numbers, but we're pretty close to our goal of 50. Said if we sold 50 stickers, I would get a tattoo. So
We're close.
we're close.
I think we're 12 away.
So
we're close.
I need to stop bringing this up because I'm not trying to disappoint. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. If we sell 500 stickers, I'll get its Morbin time tattooed across my forehead.
You know what?
So there we go. Although knowing the audience, that'll blow up and be like, guys, get this guy to see his Morbin time on his forehead.
Please.
We won, but at what cost?
But at what cost? Guys, I'm going to be real with you. I bamboozled you hard. Anyway. Wrap it up.
This is a bad movie. Well,
Well.
we'll see you guys in the next episode. It's Morbin time.